See the game for what it is. If this establishment did not care so much about the public opinion, the court of public opinion, they wouldn't spend so much time and energy on propaganda. They spend the time on propaganda because it's easier to move their agendas forward when they have the consent, the manufactured consent of the public. Even if that consent is based on false information. They don't need your consent with the truth. They just need your consent. And so now you're watching this craze build in the conservative movement where we have to counter everything the left does, everything the Democrats do. And we have to use each situation that makes the national headlines with a partisan bent. And so now the story has become Joe Biden is weak. Joe Biden is showing his weakness because of his slow retaliation in Iran. And this is a byproduct of his allegiance to Obama, who was also soft on Iran. And all of that could be true, mind you. And this is the difficulty with it. This is the difficulty of critical thought and having the courage to discern, which a lot of you don't have. But I'm going to help you. I promise you that. God bless me, I'll be able to help you. That all may be true. Joe Biden is weak. And listen, we don't need a slow response in Iran to prove to us that Joe Biden is who we already know he is. We don't need that. We don't need that smoking gun. No, Joe Biden is exactly who we know he is. He's weak. Mentally, he's weak. Physically, he's frail. We see it every day. We don't need a new situation. We don't need a new headline to prove that. We don't need a current events to prove that. The whole being caught up in more current events to prove what we already know is a bastardization of the American intellect. What you're saying is the American people are too dumb to take what happened on Monday and keep it in their mind to make a definitive decision by Friday. Some things paint a pretty good picture. Not a total picture, not always. We can't live in the past. But Joe Biden's had a 30-year body of work. This isn't some spontaneous leader that's popped up out of nowhere. We know who this guy is. And we see exactly what's become of his presidency in our country under the leadership of it. We don't need new evidence. So let's not let your Ann Coulters or even your Victor Davis Hanson, and all these people, I agree with them on some things I differ. On this military-industrial complex issue, I differ. I differ way over to the right or to the left or wherever you want to, whatever direction you think that is. But I differ. I distinguishably differ from these neocons. And I've been saying it since the beginning. This is why I'm not on Fearless. This is why I'm not on Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I got nothing to do with no private conversation or Mark Levin or any of that shit. What it has to do with is the conservative mainstream movement knows that the rubber meets the road when it comes to the military-industrial complex. And although they may be able to criticize the Ukraine war, they will not criticize the military-industrial complex as a whole. Many of them won't. Jason's one of them. Jason Whitlock's one of them. But there's a bunch of them. And it's Laura Ingraham. I'm in an Uber today, and I'm riding with an older white man. He's driving. Nice man. Polite man. Boomer, for sure. And he's listening to Fox News on XM radio. And usually I would just tune out and put my headphones on, but we're on the brink of war. See, I know the neocons and the war hawks and the military-industrial complex are gearing up. So I want to hear what they're telling the constituents who just are everyday citizens trying to do their job and go about their life. I wanted to hear it because I'm running for Senate. And I need to be aware of what the narrative is. And the narrative was neocon times 1,000. Obnoxious neocon. And Laura Ingraham, and she comes on with the same monotone, monochromatic, I'm just giving you the facts as they are on the ground. No, she's not. She's lying. She's lying to the American people. Everybody at Fox News is lying to the American people, and they know it. I don't care who you took, Gutfeld, pick one. It doesn't matter. Up and down the line. They're lying, and they know they're lying. And they think you'll buy it anyway. And see, that's the modus operandi of the military industrial complex. That's the whole scam. The scam is they know that deep down, you know they're not telling you the truth. But you like the convenience and you like the false sense of security so much, you'll accept it anyway. At any cost. At all costs. Doesn't matter what the cost. We could pay. We could pay. The American taxpayer can pay as long as we need to in perpetuity. Doesn't matter the cost. There is no cost. There is no price. No price too high. It's unlimited. Continued resolution. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson wraps himself in the cloth of Christ. Gets up there before the American people and says that he's MAGA. But he signs a bill with the establishment and the status quo to keep stealing your money. And what was the linchpin of the CR bill? When you really know politics. The linchpin is that the open-ended discretionary spending happens around the military. And here we are a month later going into war with Iran because 3 American soldiers were killed. And they can't tell us who the drone belonged to. They can't tell us. Am I saying that it's inconsequential that 3 American soldiers were killed? No, of course not. Not at all. Of course it matters when our boys are killed, when our citizens, when our servicemen and women are killed in action. Of course that matters. What I'm saying is we have to look at the number with some sort of temperance. We have to. And we have to think to ourselves, well, we have more servicemen and women die every day in this country because of the drugs that come across the border, who OD, who commit suicide, who are on drugs. We have more soldiers killed every single day in this country, every single day. That's not an exaggeration. Every single day, an American soldier is killed, dies, because it is impacted by the policy and the drugs that come across the border. Are we going to war with everybody who's involved in that? Absolutely not. That's a part of the controlled demolition. That's a part of the controlled chaos. But it's not just that. Even the 3 soldiers who were killed in this drone attack are a part of the controlled chaos. See, you got the managed decline of the West, you got the managed decline of America, but you have the controlled chaos of the whole global community. Understand, the whole modus operandi of globalism is controlled chaos. Small skirmishes that we say we're keeping the peace in with international governing bodies. But have they ever been able to keep the peace? No. They just contain the chaos to a level where sometimes the chaos is organic, but sometimes it's not. And you get the two swirling around together, and you at home can't really tell the difference. And I ask this question, who does that benefit? Who does controlled chaos benefit? Does it benefit you? Does it benefit our soldiers? Certainly it benefits our enemies, whoever our enemies are, because to be quite honest, I can't tell anymore. First it was the Russians, it's been the Russians, and then the Iranians, the Ayatollah, the supreme leader. Oh, you know, if you're not watching, I'm using air quotes, the supreme leader